Hey guys, just wanted to create a video to help you out with what we've already done in class, which is to create the DXF file for the laser to cut out our PCB holder. So if we look at the pictures, we've got our LED lights coming through our holes that we've positioned on the board. So this video will take you through how we figured that out and how to do it on Inventor. So you're going to start off by going into your remote desktop, and you're going to want to open up a new drawing. So if I click on File, New, then I definitely know that I'm getting my standard MM. I've been having a lot of trouble with kids in the past just clicking on New Part, and it's bringing up a not a metric template, so it might be in inches. So that's the way to do it. Go File, New. From here I'm going to go and I'm going to start a new 2D sketch, and I'm going to select any plane, doesn't really matter too much, and we'll start off by drawing the overall size of the piece of acrylic that's going to be cut out. I'm going to use rectangle, and I'm going to use the little function here that puts it in the center. I've been doing this a bit more often. I'm finding it it's a good habit to get into. Probably not going to make much of a difference for this drawing, but it is a good habit to get into for down the track. Now I've just done this, so I'm pretty confident it's 215 by I think it was 70. I can change it later, but I'll just go back and I'll have a look at my other drawing. So 215 by 70. If I go Control Tab, I can go between the screens that I have open at the moment. So if I go to this drawing here, I've got 70 by 215. Yep, so that's all good. So I'll go back to this drawing that I've got open at the moment, 215 by 70. I'm going to go Finish Sketch, which has created my rectangle, and I go up to Extrude under the 3D Model tab there. So if you can't see Extrude for whatever reason, you just need to click on 3D Model and click on Extrude. The material we're using is 3mm, so we're going to model the exact material. So I type in 3mm, and your extrusion function might look like this for the first time if you haven't opened up Inventor before. So you're going to click on the downward arrow and you'll select the profile, type in 3mm. So now I've got the full size of the sheet that's going to be required for this PCB holder. What I need to do is I need to figure out where these holes are going to be for the LEDs to poke through. So I'm just going to select this face, and I'm going to go New Sketch. So let's create a new sketch there, and let's also create a sketch here. So either way it's going to do the same thing. And to start off with, I'm just going to draw one of the holes and extrude one of the holes, and then we'll use a pattern technique to transplant them down. So for the moment I'm just going to draw a circle. I'm not sure what size it is, so I'll just click anywhere for now, and I'm going to go Dimension, and I'm going to give this a size. I also want to figure out how far it's going to be from my circle to this top edge. So I'll give that a dimension as well. And so at the moment I'm just clicking in these dimensions, and you can see that I've placed this circle in the top corner here. It's not perfect, but I'm going to just check from my my original drawing and the sketch that, and you'll be checking from the sketch that you've done in class, and we'll add the values in. So we'll go Control Tab, and so I know that I've got to come 12mm off to the center of the circle, 12mm down for my first one, and it's a 5mm diameter hole. So 12, 12 and 5. So let's do that. So we've got 12mm down, 12mm across, and a diameter 5. So if we go back here and take a look at some of these images that I've taken a photo of, we would have done this in class. So we've measured the diameter of the LEDs that we have, and we've also measured the spacing between them. So it looks like we've got about 11 there. It's a bit hard to tell in the photo, but it is equal the whole way through. And so I'll go back into Inventor now. And now that that's done, I've got my 12, 12 and 5, so that's my starting one. I'm going to go finish sketch. The temptation would be to draw the rest of my circles and spend time dimensioning and placing them all around, but there's a much smarter way. So I'm now going to go to extrude. Nothing's come up, so I'm going to select the surface that I want to extrude, and I'm going to go here to subtract, and that will take away the material instead of adding it. So I now have a hole, which is perfect. Control tab just to get me back into this drawing so I can double check, and yep, so it's 11 mil is what I've used. Like I said, that photo was a bit blurry, and you would have done a sketch in class that you can refer to. So let's go 11 mil, and we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. So Control tab. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this function up here, and it's the rectangular pattern. So I click on that. The first thing the computer wants to know is what would I like to pattern, what would I like to copy. So I'm going to select the feature that I've done, which is that extrusion. Now you might have noticed that I've scrolled in with my mouse so that I definitely get it. After I've selected the feature, I just work my way down. I go, okay, my direction that I'm going to go. So what it's wanting to know is it's wanting to know, do you want to go along this edge or down this edge? So what I'm going to do, zoom in, and I'm going to select that edge. Straight away, it's already placed one there for me. So I know that the spacing needs to be 11, and we said we wanted 6 of them. So 2, 4, 6, that's looking pretty good. I'm now going to click OK, and it's copied those holes. At any time now, if I was to have printed that out and it's not quite working, or the PCB boards change in the future or whatever, I need to change that size, I can just go to this rectangular pattern, double click on it, and I can change those values again, and I can click OK, and it just updates it. I find it's a much faster way than trying to draw every hole and then do the extrusion. So click OK, and I've got that there. So if we go Control Tab again now, here's one I've drawn before. Just double check that that's exactly what I did. So yeah, we've got 6 and 11. Yep, awesome. Go back to this drawing. So far we've got our outline. I've made my holes. I now need to make the 2 mounting holes that screw to the piece of aluminium angle. So different diameter 4 this time to suit our bolts that we're using, and they're coming in 10 by 10 on the corners. So I could draw one and then pattern it. Because there's only 2, I'm just going to draw the 2 at the same time. So let's see how that looks. Control Tab. This is the one I'm working on. I'm going to select the surface, and I'm going to create a new sketch. So every time we do an extrusion, it needs to be related to a new sketch. I'm going to draw 2 circles. I'm not going to be too worried about I can punch it in now. I'll go 4, so there's my diameter. I'll go another one here, 4. And now I'm going to go up here to dimension, and it was 10 by 10 that we needed. So click those lines, pull the dimensions across, and then it's just a matter of double clicking, I'm highlighting, typing in 10, pressing enter, double click, 10, enter. Oh, single click, I don't actually have to highlight, that's even better. So I just single click now, type in 10, press enter. So 10 by 10, in from the edge, 4mm diameter, perfect. Finish sketch. I'm now going to go extrude. The computer hasn't recognized what I want to do, sometimes it will, so I just need to select those. It's adding the material on, I want to subtract it, so then I click OK. Rightio, so that was pretty simple. I now have my geometry made for this PCB holder. If I select it, go right click, export face as. So you can see here I've already done one, and I've labelled it PCB cover. So you would just label this PCB cover or holder, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it's going to a safe place. So if you're in the remote desktop, make sure it's saving under your name, not on the desktop, because it gets wiped after every session, and you would save it. The next program you would open up would be RD Works. I've currently got this in here as an example for you. So I would then import my PCB cover. The DXF file is the one that I want. In it comes. I don't really like this orientation because it's just a bit trickier to work with text, so I'm going to spin it around. Oops. Just by using this rotate command and typing in your degrees. So it must take it clockwise, so that's why I had to do it so many times. So that's all good. I can place that there. I can then go to my text, click that there, and you can see it's got the last one that I put in. And there's the text. So the text that I'm using, if I double click on it, it'll tell me a little bit about it. I'm using the height of 6mm. You can use whatever font you want. And I think what I did, just to make it easier, if I select that and I go Control Copy, I can then click down here and go Control V, and I can just keep placing the text and then double click on it. It just makes it a bit easier for your text height. I can then change it to whatever theme I'm going for on my display. One thing that's worth doing is just holding down Shift, selecting all these circles, and then coming up and putting this little padlock and locking them in place. What will ensure is that you don't accidentally grab one and move it. Not so much by the physical move, but more by if I was to click on, now it's not doing it, that'd be right. If I was to click on the text and then hold Shift, click on that circle, I can come up here and I can say that I'd like them both to be aligned on the center horizon there. So what should have happened there is that the circle doesn't move, your text moves to the circle. So I'll try and make a more obvious one. So because it's been padlocked, I'll select both. And now if I click on this one by rights, it should jump up and the circle should stay where it was. That'd be right. I'll try that again. So if I select that and why is that not locking? Try locking it. It's making a liar out of me. There you go. And up it goes. So didn't work, so what I did, I unlocked it, locked it, and away it goes. So just make sure that when you do it that your circles aren't moving, otherwise they won't line up. The circles won't line up with the PCB LEDs. So it looks nice when you line it up. You can just try and line it up by eye, but I do like to use these little functions here because it just makes it look a lot more professional, because everything's lining up. And so I won't bore you with the rest of that. As far as the cut values go, if we have a look here, these values that I've put in, well, they must just be a default that it's come up, because that is definitely not the values that we would be using for cutting acrylic on our big laser. So I'll get you to refer to the poster that's on the wall, and I'll also put a poster up on Teams. Once you're happy with this, save it, and then you would be emailing it to the Unity CNC email address. Before you email it, double check your settings, because like I said in class, I don't want to flood that computer with files that aren't actually ready to print. So if we open it up and your settings are all over the place, we'll delete the file. You go back to your computer, have another go, make sure it's perfect before you send it over. Hopefully that helped, guys. I know this is a longer video than normal, but you should be able to find your way through.